So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to 90 Day Fiancé MK Classic Edition. I'm Mr. O, and I hope that everybody that celebrated yesterday had a Merry Christmas. Today, Miss H and I will be discussing Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8 of 90 Day Fiancé. In this episode, Muhammad visits an immigration lawyer, we meet Danny's racist dad, and Justin takes Evelyn on a hot air balloon. We'll discuss all that, plus the other couples, class dunces, students of the week, and our life lessons. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. You are having a good time in Palau right now. So
Yes, well, yeah, I hope I'm having a good time in Palau right now. I am off the grid, and I don't know, but I'm kind of one of those people that actually kind of enjoys that. I don't know. The people I go diving with, they are not about that. As soon as we get into another country, they always buy a SIM card.
really,
And they have to, yeah. And I think there's been one dive trip, the last one we went on, they actually could get reception most places that we were out on the boat. And so they would still be working. But the one before that, there was nothing. And so it was very interesting. I like it better when, you're off your grid.
yeah, I don't want to be working. Like, I don't know. There's people.
Yeah.
I might be able to talk to friends or if anything happens. But I don't know anybody. There's very few people I couldn't be like, oh, I have to talk to them every 10 days or everything falls apart.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we are talking about episodes 7 and 8 from season 2.
And 8.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start with Jason and Cassio.
Okay. So they go to the beach, and Jason's outfit, what the heck is he wearing? He has, clashing prints. I was like, what is this?
He just got the cheapest bathing suit that he could find and threw on a t-shirt, I guess. I don't know. Because he's not shirtless, right? He's got a shirt on.
Yeah, he has 2 shirts on. He has a t-shirt, and then he has
he has, the
Hawaiian print. Yeah, I mean, he takes it off later. That's the thing that clashes. It's like one was orange, the other was yellow, and the prints didn't match. It was just a mess.
Was it a beach, though?
No, not really.
I don't know if it was. It kind of reminds me of...
Well, it's the closest thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not that far from any real beaches. You can go to the Gulf Coast and go to an actual beach. That was like a river. Or an inlet or something.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
It reminds me of, in Maryland, the most popular beach people go to is Ocean City, right? And it's on the eastern shore. You have to go over the Chesapeake Bay to get to it. And there's, right before you get over the Bay Bridge, there's this, place on the bay called Sandy Point that is, everybody knows it. It's, the cheap person beach. All right, there's sand, right? Sand, water, that's a beach. We'll stop there. We ain't going to keep driving any farther. Yeah. You can see it when you go over the bridge. So it reminded me of something like that. It was there's sand and water. That's a beach, right?
Yeah. So, at least I'm not the only one who's hating on Jason's outfit, because Cassio also was kind of embarrassed that Jason was wearing what he was wearing.
Well, I mean, and he was embarrassed because she was wearing what she was wearing, too, so...
Oh, yeah. He wants her to cover up. So this is what I was kind of saying on the last episode about... He just gives off some dad vibes a lot of times. And, telling her to cover up is very much dad thing.
Right. I mean, she was wearing a straight-up thong, though.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't And it was an old person beach. They were the only people on that beach under, 60?
Yeah. Here's my personal feelings about thongs, out and about like that. It's no one has an absolutely perfect body. And so it's even the skinniest of people have dimpling or kind of the stretch marks or, and it's I don't know if we need to see all that.
Right, because even the models for thongs, that's all airbrushed out. That's all photoshopped out.
Oh, yeah.
It's still there when they took the picture.
Right. So, I don't know. It just, I'm not really that into it. So, he then wants to take her to a nice dinner, which is just I was this is a nice dinner.
It's an early bird special, Miss H.
Yeah, and I was going to say that it was just they look like the tables were plastic. When your furniture is plastic, that is not a nice dinner.
like, okay, yeah, I was trying to think of a counterexample, but I'm stumped. You're right. That if it's if the tables are plastic, yes, like potentially you could have a nice dinner with plastic like dishware. If it's like a really fancy picnic or something, and a nice romantic, like hard to get to location, then I'll give you like a plastic champagne glass. But like, yeah, no, not plastic furniture. Can't do it.
No. So during dinner, Jason is on his phone, and so Cassia gets mad because once again, Jason's work is just
it's all the time.
Interrupting their alone time
all the time. He doesn't have work hours. He just is always on in terms of his work.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And he feels like he's guilting her. Well, I shouldn't say he's pretty much guilting her, saying, well, this is us making money. Mm-hmm. And then he says, when I turn on my phone after it's been turned off, I hear the cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Why does he turn off his phone? That bothers me on a visceral level. That it's like, silent your phone. You don't need to turn it all the way off.
Right.
Just silent your phone and then look at it later. It does not have to be off, and that way you don't have that thing, which I feel is super annoying when you turn your phone back on. It's like bzz, 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 bzz. Like,
yeah.
Stop. Oh.
Yeah. So they're talking about their wedding, and it sounds like they're getting married in Vegas.
All right.
But Cassie is kind of concerned because apparently Jason has a bunch of LA friends. And his LA friends are going to be at the wedding in Vegas, and she's suspicious of the LA friends. She thinks they might be a bad influence.
That's a euphemistic interpretation of her thinking that they're going to buy him a hooker.
Oh, gosh. But even Jason's dad, Ron, he's talking about who he's going to invite to the wedding. He says he'll take a go-go dancer. So I don't think that she's that far off in thinking that.
Yeah, she had very specific fears. It wasn't like, oh, I think they're a bad influence. Oh, they're going to get him a drink too much. Oh, they're going to go to a strip club. She was like, no, they're going to get him a stripper. They're going to lock him in the room with the stripper. With the
what is he going to do?
It wasn't a stripper. With the prostitute, it was like, what? Wait, why? That's a very specific thing you think is going to happen, Cassia.
I feel like Jason told her a story about a bachelor party, and this is the reason why she has fears.
Maybe.
Like, this happened to someone he knows.
Maybe.
Because, yeah, you're right. It was a very specific picture she was painting there.
Right. So her compromise for that is he can have a bachelor party, but it has to be like a co-party, a bachelorette party. That she is also at.
So I went to a bachelorette co-party in Vegas.
Oh, yes.
It was the biggest shit show ever. And I would very much recommend that no one does that ever.
I mean, the whole point...
it wasn't mine, but...
The whole point is you can be your single dirtbag self one more time. Like, you're supposed to be at your dirtbaggiest at your Vegas bachelor party. That's like the point.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say the drama wasn't even necessarily, like the involving the opposite sex. It was mostly the drama came from just one of them just getting belligerently drunk and just being unreasonable. And, there was the groom got lost. We couldn't find them. The party had to keep going because we were on a bus. And it was just this. Then he got mad that he was left behind. And it was just, like I said, a total shit show. And he definitely took it out on the bride. So, I mean, like stuff like that, it's not a good idea. I do not recommend it at all. It was fun for me, but I mean, I'm not personally invested.
Some things are better left separate. Which, I mean, okay, but she doesn't have any people. Like, so it would have been like, part of that is, I feel like also her being like, I don't want you to just go out. I think if she had her girlfriends and they were going to go out and get drunk and flirt with guys too, then she'd be like, all right, fine. But it was like, okay, so you want me to sit in our hotel room alone?
Yeah.
While you go bang a hooker? No, this is not happening.
Yeah, no, I agree because, she's in Vegas. It's not even like her home. And then he's going to leave her. Like, I understand. But I thought it was funny how she kept on saying, like, she wanted a joint party, which basically just means her and the guys because she doesn't have anyone else there to join in the other party.
Right.
Yeah, so it was funny. They go to an auction, and on their way, they're in the El Camino, and Cassia's wedged between Ron and Jason.
That visual so much. That was one of my favorite visuals
I
for
felt
this
like
season.
it was very symbolic of basically their lives. Yeah, that's why I loved it. It was
her
hilarious.
Being squeezed in to his life, and him not changing anything about his life, and just squeezing her into the middle of it.
And Ron's there.
And Ron's there. Yes, many levels. But just her just sitting there in what I don't even think was a seat. I think she was like sitting on the center console. Like I don't know that it had bucket seat. I think it might have had bucket seats. But
I don't know. Like older cars like that,
they tend to have bench
they had
seats.
bench seats.
Yeah, they did.
So I mean,
and I only said that because I feel like when she got out, it was like there was a gap between the seat. But it could have been one of those bench seats like on the ground that had the armrest that came down.
Yeah.
But yeah, just her looking totally uncomfortable, squeezed in.
Right. Actually, do they even make trucks with bench seats anymore?
No, they don't make bench
in
seats.
The front?
Nothing has bench seats in the front anymore.
Yeah, I remember like growing up, we had a truck with bench seats in the front. And that was funny because we were kids. We used to get wedged in there.
Oh, yeah. And you do like the thing where you overlap the seatbelts? I mean, you might not have worn seatbelts, but we overlapped our seatbelts.
Well, I remember like us just shoving 4 people in there, because me and my sister are kind of small, and so we just shoved in there. But actually, it was really funny because Mr. O and I were kind of talking about car safety, and we came to the revelation that I have never been in a car seat, and I had to confirm with my dad. I called him. I was like, "Dad, did I ever have a car seat?" And he was like, "No, you had like a booster or something." And I was like, "A boost? I don't remember ever being in a booster seat." He's like, yeah, you were really small, so we had this thing to boost you up. And I was like, you mean a cushion? And he was like, yeah, a cushion. So that was the car safety when I was a kid. I had a pillow.
Yeah. Back when they had station wagons that you face backwards in. Oh man, it was awesome. I mean, it was actually
car sick.
Super dangerous, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so they go to this auction.
Yes, where they are going to work and play.
Well, the thing is like I said, I mentioned this before on the last episode. His job to me sounds like a friggin' nightmare. It sounds like the worst possible way to be. But I would, if I was him, I would be at the Target like tomorrow, being like, "Let me work here. Mm-hmm. Can I get a job?" Because it just sounds terrible to me. And he just really seems to think it's fun. Like he really enjoys his job, which good for him.
Yeah. I mean, and I think a certain kind of person, they're really into like, and this is where it gets in shopaholics, there's some kind of thrill of buying something. Mm-hmm. There's some kind of thrill of buying something at a bargain price. Yeah. And that to them is fun. I mean, my sister is that kind of fits. Like she loves going to like warehouse sales or garage sales and like finding that gem in the middle of anything that's like this really great deal. It's like she lives for stuff like that. If she could make a legitimate living off of that, that would be fun for her. So I think there are people like that find that enjoyable. But I still am confused about how the auction is work and play for Cassia.
Right. Well, I mean, it's definitely, and we saw this last year with Russ and Powell, where like it was a thing he was passionate about. Last time it was a football game. He's like, I want to share the thing that I'm passionate about with the other person. Mm-hmm. And this is what he's passionate about. Like, it really is. Like, buying junk is his college football. Like, yeah. And so he's like, this is something I truly enjoy, and I'm going to bring my fiance, and I would love to enjoy it with her. And she is not on board.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And my whole take on this is that Jason is just really selfish and set in his ways, and it's about him. He has fun doing this, so he's going to drag her along because in the end, he thinks that being together is fun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just the mere presence, being together. That's it.
Whatever
Doesn't matter
he thinks
what
is fun doing. Should also be fun for her because it's fun.
Right.
And obviously I'm right.
Yeah. Oh, God. I really dislike him. So he is, everything that he said just came off as very delusional. So Evelyn gets really upset. She's kind of like, you could see she's just kind of starting like to stew in like her anger while she's at the auction.
Yes.
And then she finally just gets to a point where she's just like, I'm out of here. So she just leaves. She tries to get back to the car and she just, is crying. And she's just like, Jason just isn't getting it. It did make me feel bad for her. And I think this is the first time this season that I actually felt bad for her.
Really? I was like, she started to cry and I was like, wait a second. Like, this is real emotion. She is very upset.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Like,
I think, like, I get it, too.
because she just
like,
has seemed like the coming in and be the boss and control
Yes.
everything.
Right.
But this is the first time in the first episode where you're like, oh no, actually, Jason is kind of controlling everything. And Jason's
Yeah.
always getting his way. And it's not necessarily her being like, I don't know if I'll meet you at the airport. Maybe I will.
Yeah. I definitely feel like there has been a shift in power. Like, she had more power when they were kind of more on neutral ground. But now that she's, like, at his home, it really is his rules. And, it's like she's in his environment now. She doesn't have control over everything. There's nothing that she could really do to kind of, like, withhold anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he doesn't even seem that, like, physically into her.
No, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I put it on a chart, but she's objectively attractive. Like, she's,
Oh, yeah. Well, minus the wings on her eyes.
Which, yeah, when
Which are very
we see her
distracting.
without the wings, she looks better. But, like,
Yes.
I mean, compared to a normal person, and it's also, you got to take it with a grain of salt when you see somebody on TV. Because I've always
Right.
found that, like, somebody who on TV, like, if they're like a 7 on TV, if you see them in real life, they're like 10.5. Like, they're just like outstanding. Like, you're just the bar is so high on TV that when you see somebody in real life, you're like, oh wow. And so I kind of get that too. But comparatively, even to most of the other women, well, certainly some of the other women this season, like
Danielle.
I didn't say that.
I did.
Like, yeah, like you'd think he'd be like on her, like kissing her, hugging her, like
Right.
grabbing
He
her
doesn't
butt.
seem to
like,
show any affection. I mean, the most we've seen is jaw drop when he sees her, like, in a bikini.
yeah,
But other than that, 2 seconds later, he's telling her that it's too revealing and she should cover up.
right. That is true.
So, yeah. So,
So and then
he just reminds me of a dad.
yeah, and it's creepy. That dynamic is creepy of like marrying someone that acts like your dad is
Yes.
weird. It's weird.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. I just, but he also she does the same. It's a very standard line. So there's a few lines almost everybody's seen, right? Almost every couple says 90 days just isn't enough time, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the other thing is the person from the other country always says, I've sacrificed everything for you, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't without merit, but it's just repetitive, they said. But then he said something like, oh, I've sacrificed a lot too, and I can't figure out what it is he sacrificed.
Money. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, he could have spent his money elsewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah, like
That's not
I don't know.
everything.
He hasn't sacrificed anything about his way of life. Is I guess when I think of sacrifice, that's what I think of.
Well, maybe he's thinking, the changes in his life, like, being with his dad, having to now be clean.
Well,
that's
yeah. He sacrificed that.
definitely
He
something.
sacrificed that green algae pool.
Yeah, which is for the best. The pool looks so much better now.
He's doing dishes.
Yeah, you have to get rid of the Playboys. I think that's the only real sacrifice.
That's the one. Because
Yep.
he hasn't found Pornhub yet.
Oh gosh.
We have a lot of
Okay.
a lot of people this week stuck in other decades, but okay.
Yes. So who do you want to talk about next?
All right. Let's just go through Dia and Brett.
Okay. So Cassidy seems to be warming up to Dia, and so they're having much better time in this episode. or these two episodes.
I think that just has a lot to do with time. Like, it just takes time for kids to warm up to people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the reason why I was a little annoyed when, after the first day, Dia was like, I thought we'd be close. It's been a day.
Right.
Yeah. So after, I think it was like 5 weeks they were with her. Mm-hmm. Or she was with them. So, yeah, things are getting better. And now it's getting to be the time where Cassidy needs to go.
Yes. Yeah. And they gotta take her back. Which is pretty normal. I think we're right, though, because remember we talked about the park drop-off last time? I think we hit on the park. I think it's a meet-in-the-middle park, not a I drive you out here park. So, I don't know. I feel bad for Cassidy. That's like a long car ride and then switch and then a long car ride.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, everybody has to do the same, right?
Yeah, so I guess it's the same. Assuming it's about halfway, then yeah, it's about the same if somebody drove her the whole way there for her.
Right. Yeah. So what I really appreciated about all of this is that Dia actually admitted that she was selfish and self-centered, and that having to take care of
she's not, right?
Yes, right. But having to take care of Cassidy actually changed that, and I definitely got selfish, self-centered vibes from her, like at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, I'm not saying she's not those things now, but maybe she'll have a little bit more self-awareness now that she's actually had to take care of someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to rearrange this when I edit it because we skipped the whole barbecue part.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right, so we're about halfway through summer, right? And they first they start off going venue shopping, which is pretty non-notable except for Brett's pants.
Oh gosh, he has some weird fashion.
He's like wearing culottes. Like, what is this? It's like really long cargo culottes that he's wearing. They go past his knees, and like, I don't know. I just couldn't get over that. I didn't notice much about that. But,
I mean, I think it kind of makes sense. Maybe his old lady friends keep buying him clothes like they're his son or something.
You need some big capris.
Because this kind of seems like something like your mom would get you, and, because she thinks that's what's cool right now.
I feel like there was a minute because there was a minute in like the late 90s where it was like really cool to wear shorts that went like way past your knees.
Oh, gosh, yes. And I feel like that lasted way more than a minute.
It was a minute in my head. I guess you're right. It wasn't really the late 90s. I feel like that was like really strong from like 92 to 97.
Yeah, it was definitely there. Yep. So they're having that cookout, and I love Lou. So she's teaching Brett to cook.
She is just being kibitzing on his cookout so hard. Are you gonna turn that over? You're gonna turn the hot dogs over. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then Dia says that Brett needs to learn to listen. Yeah.
Which means she agreed with Lou. Lou knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
You should listen to her. Right.
Then
go ahead.
Sue comes in. So Sue is Brett's really good friend from work, that at the very beginning of the season, Sue had reservations and had voiced them to Brett, and it seemed like there was a bit of some tension there because Sue didn't really seem all that interested in meeting Dia because she didn't think Dia was here for good reasons.
Right.
So,
and like, I'm on the fence about Sue because she seems to have good intentions, but like her only evidence of why she didn't think Dia had good intentions was she's Asian.
Yeah, and based on things that happened with her friends, which had nothing to do with Dia.
Right, and but the things her friends that are divorced have in common is they're Asian. Like, and it was like, we need to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah. So she comes in there, wants to have a private conversation with Dia, and pretty much is questioning Dia, putting her on the hot seat a little bit, and wondering what Dia's intentions are. And, like, when people ask this question, it's like, I don't understand, like, what kind of response they're expecting to get. Someone's not going to be up front and say, yes, my intention is to use this person.
Right. I I don't.
Oh, I guess the jig's up. You asked the right question.
You asked the right
give
question.
You the right
I can't.
answer.
It's like the Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar. It's like, I can't lie to you. I'm here to take advantage of a green card. Damn.
Yeah.
Foiled again. But
right.
I mean,
so I don't.
That goes with any time because that's something that comes up too. Like with like teenagers, like, what are your intentions with my daughter? Like, no dude's gonna be like, well, I was hoping to get into her pants tonight.
Yep. Just knock her up and then head out.
And then after that, never talk to her again. Yeah, those are my intentions. Like, nobody's gonna say that.
Right. So it is a weird question to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're just gonna get some standard-ish answer.
Right. Of people telling you what they think you want to hear, like every single time.
Right.
And so, I don't. Yeah. That basically is what you're asking. What is it you think I want to hear? Please tell me.
Yeah. And I thought Daya was actually, like, nice about it. She didn't get offended by the questions. She just kind of, like, rolled with it. She was kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know. She was asking me questions. But even after the conversation, Sue is still suspicious.
But at least she did meet her and, will apparently be there at the wedding. So,
yeah.
That's good. That's an improvement, I suppose. And then they decide that as much as we love Lou and T,
yes,
we just can't stay in a house with 4 grown-ups
and
anymore.
A bird
and birds and dogs and things and they got to get their own place, which that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So they go looking for homes together, and they find an apartment that actually is a really nice looking apartment. It looks like there'd be space for, you know, Cassidy, and they won't all have to share a bed when Mom comes to visit.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty standard apartment. It was like, I don't know. I've done a decent amount of apartment shopping myself in my life, and it's all the same. It's just
I kind of feel like everybody shares the same floor plan. I feel like I've only ever seen like 2 kinds of floor plans.
Pretty
maybe
much.
3.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're pretty much all the same-ish. Yeah.
It's the same-ish. You're basically picking the. It's funny because they show that part on screen, but you're picking the apartment based on where it is and how much the rent is, more than you're picking.
Oh yeah.
On the floor plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that was really it for them.
That was it for them. Who do you want to do next?
Let's say Chelsea and Ymir.
Chelsea and Ymir. All right.
Yep.
We continue.
So kind of going along with Chelsea's bohemian spirit, she is making her wedding dress.
Yeah. I said that last time. She just keeps like slowly morphing into more and more of a hippie every week.
Oh my gosh.
Every week. Yeah.
She's going to be living off the land soon enough.
Homemade, well, I mean, yeah. The homemade wedding dress and between that and because she found a top in Nicaragua and she has her mom make the skirt, between the homemade wedding dress and she wants to get married in the real live woods. Like it's just the woods.
Like
it's barely even a clearing.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have to basically clear out the area. She was just scoping out a spot. And she was like, okay, well, we're going to have to machete this.
Yeah.
You know, make a pathway here.
Walked into the woods and stopped and was like, here, we will be at harmony with the wicked spirits. Like, what is this? What are you doing?
Well, she was also talking about lights and stuff. She was like, oh, we'll just hang up some lights. It's like, how are you going to get electricity out there? You're going to have a super long extension cord from the house.
Or a generator, which, you know, makes every wedding really romantic. Just
oh, gosh, the noise. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
So while she's talking to her mom about the dress, right?
Yes.
She talks to her mom about the idea of moving with Ymir to Chicago.
Yeah. I think her mom gave some great advice.
Her mom was pretty much go. Like, I was surprised. Because usually the parents are like, oh, but we'll miss you and you'll be waiting. Granted, these parents are already used to her moving to Nicaragua. So, like, moving to Chicago.
For however many years or how long.
But, she more or less was like, yeah, he sacrificed a lot for you. You can move to the city.
Yes.
Like, that's not huge.
Yeah.
And her response is pretty much like, and again, she's really good at diplomatically saying this and not saying it out loud. Her response is pretty much, but I enjoy freeloading off of you.
Yeah. The basement is really great.
Yeah.
And it's free.
It's rent free here. And I don't have to have a job, apparently, because I don't know that she does have a job. So, yeah. Living for free without a job? Man. Can't do that in Chicago.
Yeah. I really liked that the mom kind of tried to have her, Chelsea, see Ymir's perspective.
Right.
You know, and really get her to empathize with, like you mentioned, the sacrifices that Ymir had to make. And so if Ymir could sacrifice all of that to come here, the least she could do is make a move a few hours away.
Because they could probably, I know I said he has to be in Chicago, but if he's in like outside of Chicago, like an inner suburb, an inner ring suburb, I don't know Chicagoland that well. I've been to Chicago a few times, but it's like, I can't tell you what the nice suburbs are and the cheap suburbs are. But like, I feel like there's got to be a place like right outside the city. If it's like, you know, a 20-minute train ride that would probably work
like
for him.
much more manageable.
Yeah.
Sure. So they have the conversation about moving to Chicago. And so they come to a compromise, which mostly is Chelsea getting her way for the time being.
Yeah, which is always scary when you make that kind of a compromise. So the compromise was they'll live in Galesburg for a year. And then after that move to Chicago. Right? Which is always a dicey compromise because the compromise is Chelsea gets her way right now. And Ymir trusts that she will go his way in a year.
Right,
because
absolutely.
We're always running the risk that after that year, she might be like, yeah, no, I like it here.
Right. And I mean, because like if you kind of keep things as they are, like, do you think Chelsea's going to bring up, oh, it's been a year, I guess we should start like looking for a place? It's like this is going to be pretty much the same conversation happening again, it seems like.
Right. Yes.
But the one thing that I really appreciate Ymir says is that, you know, when he's kind of going through this, he says that he will do anything that he can for work. So he will just try to save up as much money so they'll be in a financial position for them to be able to move to Chicago. And he also says that he is going to focus on learning English. Yes. Thank you, Ymir. Because I kind of feel like he understands that if he's really going to work in the music industry, that he's going to need English. Yeah, he's going to have to be able to speak English. So it's a priority to him. And at least he's kind of, in his mind, I'm sure, making this a positive by saying, you know, okay, well, it's not a year lost. You know, I will, in this year, do what I can to learn as much English as I can because this will help me in what I'm trying to do.
Right, and save up the money that he needs to actually establish a music career because you need to have access to, you know, studio time and you have access to a team and producers and, you know, mastering engineers and all kinds of stuff that you don't get for free.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he has a healthy attitude. It just worries me a little bit that
she's just, in a year,
it doesn't
she's just going to go, I don't know that we should go. It's so safe here.
Right. Yeah. But it doesn't seem like a compromise.
No, it does not.
Even though it kind of is.
Yeah. Right.
At least that's how he sees it.
Yes.
But I guess that's the important part, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right, let's go to
who do you want to talk about next?
Justin and Evelyn. All right, so again, my favorite scene of every story.
Of course.
The dress shopping.
Wedding dress shopping. Yes. So it's Evelyn and Justin's mom.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a whole lot going on with the dress part, I thought.
Right. She also looked gorgeous in every dress she tried on, but
yes, she's a pretty girl. So they do have a serious conversation, and Evelyn, you know, pretty much tells the mom that she's on her side, that they're a team, and that she is going to try get Justin to include at least her in the wedding.
Right, which is fair. Like, I don't know. It seems unfair to not even have your mom there.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way...
Well, if she wants to be.
If she wants to be. The way the mom was... I don't know. The mom was kind of upsetting me with the way she was kind of guilt-tripping her way into it. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I can't imagine if you have a good relationship with your mom, and it's not an abusive, like, you know, terrible relationship, that you're going to be like, I'm upset that my mom was at my wedding. I wish I didn't invite my mom to my wedding.
Right.
It
definitely seems the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
Like you'd be like, oh, I wish I had invited my mom to the wedding.
Yes. And again, that's short of if you have like people with abusive moms and stuff. Yeah. No, that's a different story because he doesn't. He seems to have an okay relationship with his mom.
Yeah, she seems like a really nice lady. She was actually one of the only ones who were supportive of the relationship from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem like she would cause any kind of drama, so I don't really understand like why he's so intent on like excluding his family. Yeah,
Right.
so Evelyn misses her family, and so that's part of the reason why she, wants Justin to be closer to his family, because she wants a better relationship with his family, and that's kind of difficult to do if Justin, like, doesn't want to.
Blows them off, at everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. So then it's Evelyn's birthday. Evelyn's birthday.
Yeah.
And apparently, in 90 Day Fiancé theory, logic, if you want to surprise a woman named Evelyn,
oh gosh,
you take her to a hot air balloon.
Yes, I was thinking that too. I was like, this is another Evelyn that's been in a hot air balloon ride.
This was a much better hot air balloon ride than than
absolutely.
the other way Evelyn.
It wasn't like tethered.
Yes.
Yeah. It actually, you got a view of something.
Yeah, and a view of San Jose is a nice view if you get up there. You get the mountains, and you can probably see the bay on the other side. It's probably pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay, but kind of going back to, how does Justin afford this stuff? He's a
gym
teacher.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Hot air balloons in the US are not cheap.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm looking at this because he was in a hot air balloon that had like the name of like a vineyard or something, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if like he just knows a lot of people. Like, he seems like a very sociable person. Like, if he knows somebody, he knows the owner of that vineyard, and they're like, well, I'm doing this hot air balloon thing that day. Like, do you want to just hop on one of my balloons?
Yeah. I can see that. But I also think, like, I don't know why I always associate hot air balloons and vineyards, but I feel like that's a thing. Like in Temecula, there's like a wine and balloon festival.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
for me,
I do also imagine every hot air balloon having like wine, a bottle of wine in the hot air balloon. I don't know. We don't get too many hot air. Like, it's just too like hilly and tree-y. Way too many trees here.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
They have one in Frederick. They have a big hot air balloon festival, but like 9 years out of 10, it's all like, oh, we can't actually launch the balloons. They're all just sitting on the ground. Aren't they pretty? All right. No, he took them down.
Yeah, cool story.
Yeah. Gee, nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So while they're in the hot air balloon, Evelyn takes advantage of
he's trapped
Justin's...
and can't get away.
Right, that he can't get away, that it's her birthday.
Right.
And she kind of almost frames it as in, like, this is a birthday present to me. Forget about the hot air balloon ride you just got me. But what would really make me happy is if your mom could come to the wedding. Mm-hmm. And then the mom becomes pretty much his immediate family. She's a good negotiator. Yeah,
she is. She's got it. She's got it in. And it's for the best. In this family situation, it's for the best that the mom come to the wedding. It's not, they don't have to have a giant, big blowout wedding. But
no.
If you're going to go to the courthouse, bring mom with you. Like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's still calling it an elopement. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. He's really married to that word. Married.
He really is. But now he's inviting mom. And then, originally it was mom. Now the brothers are invited.
Well, I thought it was kind of tacky on mom to be like, she didn't even hesitate. He was like, Mom, we think you should come to the wedding. And she was like, oh, thanks. What about your brother? Immediately was like, boom.
Yeah, definitely. So then Evelyn's calling him Groomzilla. But I think she is making him a better man, and everybody seems to agree with that.
Right. Well, because it's the opposite of what you expect the, just here for the green card scammer to do, right?
Yeah.
When he came up and did that thing where he introduced her, this is my fiance, you've never met her before, the immediate thought was that was her doing. She was the one who said we shouldn't be introduced. She was the one who didn't want to meet us, right?
Right.
And so that's what you're immediately going to think. And then, over the time, they're like, oh, no, that was Justin being a jerk. And Evelyn's actually trying to fix that.
Right. Definitely the people who are just in it for the green card, I feel like they probably would want to meet as few family members or friends as possible because they don't want those people like casting shadows of doubt in their relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like if they actually
you definitely
see
would
them.
like if you were a scammer and you needed to get that green card, you would definitely try to isolate them as much as you could.
Isolate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Keep those outside opinions away. But Evelyn seems to be doing the opposite. I mean, I don't have any like thoughts about, what her intentions are. Yeah, she seems to be well intended and she's definitely helping his relationship with his family.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. We got
Next up.
left. Danny and Amy.
Okay.
All right.
Once again, I love Amy.
Of course.
She is.
Of course.
Yes, she's just the best.
They pull that. They're pulling the Alan and Kierlian thing where they're like, okay, we're horny, so let's just move the wedding up. Let's get married. Let's not wait all 90 days.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Which they can because, I mean, they're getting married at their friend's farm, and so...
Yes, they can move it whenever they need, right.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want there. And so, I guess the only thing that they would really have to plan in advance is maybe the visa, because I don't know if it's like visa has specific dates for, her whole family.
Oh, for her family's visas, right. And I don't know, the way they said it, I wasn't sure if they moved the wedding date or if, like, they were already just like, well, let's just do it earlier. Like...
Right.
The whole plan all the time was like, why wait 90 days? We'll just do it in 50.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. Like, we'll just say 90 days because it's on the show. But, they had already always had it planned and like for the 60 days or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Danny's parents, so it's 2 days before the wedding. And so Danny's parents are finally in town. Mm-hmm. And so now we get to meet Danny's parents, who are Charles and Jan.
Oh, is it Charles? Okay. I did not catch his name at all.
Yeah. Mom seemed fine. She was like this loving person, just very open. And Dad was
Dad. Oh, Dad.
Dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have lots of things to say about Dad.
Oh, yes. He was not my favorite.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Dad seemed very disappointed, and that's how he kind of like framed it. Mm-hmm. Amy just wants, in the end, she just wants acceptance and love from his parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So one thing that bothered me about Dad, the thing that bothered me the least, it's the least important thing, is he was chewing gum the entire time. Even when he was eating and drinking something else, he was chewing gum. It was pretty like.
Is it gum? Or maybe is it chewing tobacco?
No, it was gum. Because it was like chewing tobacco
Okay.
you kind of put in like your cheek or in your lip.
Yeah.
He was. And like that annoying, like that really poppy chewing style. Like not like. So gross chewing gum. But.
Yeah.
He's also super racist. And. Like. Super very, but definitely the kind of racist that thinks he's not racist, but is still racist. Like, because he already starts off with the mom is like, "Hey, how do you like South Africa? What's it like in South Africa?" And he starts off with now don't take offense at this, but
oh gosh, never start a sentence with that.
If you do want to start a sentence with that,
probably going to be
don't
offensive.
Say it. Don't say that sentence.
Yeah,
that sentence is not necessary to say. But don't take offense, but that's the one place that's not for us, that we would never go. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yes. There's nothing for us
there.
there.
There's nothing for us there. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And like.
I cannot stand it when people project, like, talk for them and their partner. Mm-hmm. My mom does it too, and it really annoys me. She'll be like, we don't like Thai food. And it's just like, all right, you don't like Thai food, but does Dad really not like Thai food? You just kind of lump both of you together and you speak for the both of you because it sounds more powerful than like, I don't like it. Also
takes some of the blame for your opinions and some of the heat for your opinions off of you and distributes it among other people, which is something that his dad also does.
Right, because it doesn't seem that Jan would be opposed to going to South Africa, especially if she was curious about it. Like, he just says, we would never go there.
Right, and okay, so this also bothered me too, because like Nick, Nick who kept telling her to say something African.
Gosh, yes.
I don't know that he understands that South Africa is one country in Africa, and it's not just the southern part of Africa.
Right.
Because, like, I mean, of all the places in Africa, South Africa has the most for, like, people like them. you know? Like, I'm sure there's plenty to do in Johannesburg and Cape Town for them. Like, more than there would be in, like, Kinshasa or Mogadishu. Like Africa's a really big place. 1 billion people live there.
Yeah, how could you say there's nothing in that entire continent for you? That's ridiculous. Maybe you don't belong in this world then.
Right.
If there's nothing for you there.
Of course, it's projection. And what he's really saying is there's nothing for African people here. And it's like, if there's nothing for you here, then there's nothing for me there.
Yeah. So I think he, like, understands a little bit that maybe his thoughts would not be super well received and that he doesn't want to be overtly racist. So instead he tries to frame, like, the conversations about, you're going to be challenged in your relationship.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you're an interracial couple. And so he keeps on, like, kind of making it seem like, well, I don't want you to go
rejected.
through those hardships.
This would be hard for you if some people didn't accept your relationship. Like, he even...
Yes, and why would you choose that for yourself, Danny? Why would you choose to, like, have a challenged life because of the person you're choosing to be with?
Right. It's like, I mean, it's such a cop-out and it's something super common for your own, like, racial biases to be like, well, I'm not racist, but there's so many other people that are, that I'm concerned for. It's concern trolling. That's literally the word for it. It's concern trolling. Like, especially the way he said that, how about interracial relationships in this country where it's not accepted?
Yeah,
what country
like,
is he living in? It's totally accepted.
Yes.
What is he doing? It's 1950.
I mean, maybe there's certain parts, but
there's pockets.
I mean, you can't lump the entire country as a whole and say the country as a whole does not support interracial relationships.
They're going to live in the Philadelphia suburbs. Like, it's plenty accepted. They're fine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just there was something I was going to say about that.
Because he did the same thing.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm just thinking about my grandchildren. Because my mixed-race grandchildren will have it so hard.
Yeah, they're going to struggle. That really pissed me off because it was just like, this is total white privilege. Okay, there are other people in the world that have to struggle because of their race. Mm-hmm. And now because this person is directly, like, connected or related to you, now you're concerned about the struggles that they have. And it's like,
but his concern isn't like, I'm worried about racism in general. It's like, I think a better choice would that my grandchildren just be white, because that would be easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody would be fine. I would accept them more. Know, everybody else would accept them more. Yes,
okay.
Charles was very gross at the very beginning. But it just doesn't make any sense to me because Jan is so sweet.
I know.
It's like, how do you get married to this man? I don't even know.
I don't know. So, in a better turn of events, Amy's family turns up.
Yes.
And they're
my gosh, her entire freaking family. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
So all the aunts come, and it looks like some cousins too.
Yep.
Because they seem to be some people closer to her age.
Her mom said last episode that she's bringing all of South Africa with her. So
yes, she was not exaggerating. Yeah, and that was kind of going back to how did all these, like, extended family people get visas?
Right.
Right. They
especially
all can get visas, but
other people's
mom
parents
from Russia
I
can't
wonder
get a
if
visa.
it's a timing thing, like, because it probably isn't. Even a visitor visa is probably hard to get a turnaround on, right? It probably is a slow process. And I'm sure it's slower coming out of Russia than it is coming out of, like, South Africa or, like, definitely out of, like, the UK or something.
Countries.
And
definitely have something to do with it.
Yeah, and so I wonder if it's like, did they, especially the way we know this has kind of been in the works for a while, had they, like, applied for the visa, like, 6 months before? And then, but, you know, the Russian people are like, oh, I applied 2 weeks ago. They didn't give it to me. It's not going to happen by now. Like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. So, they all come in and, okay, so I get that Danny is young, but I just kind of feel like he could have done more to facilitate like a conversation or something between the two families. Instead of, they just kind of like awkwardly, like at the beginning, awkwardly stand around or sit around and they're like nothing, you know? But Danny and Amy, they're the common link between the two families. And so this is the time where you say, oh, Dad, you like fishing. Uncle Al likes fishing too. You know, like something to that extent where you're trying to, you know, get them on the same page in terms of like common interests. And, you know, Dad isn't going to know that Uncle Al likes fishing too. So you kind of have to be the one to help moderate and facilitate a conversation between the two of them.
Otherwise, the parents are just going to talk about arranged marriages and dowries.
Yeah. That was weird. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's these days, the parents have no say over their kids wearing. Like, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Charles. That's a good thing.
Yeah, super awkward. I know, right? Because it was kind of like, oh gosh, like you're saying that to her mom.
Hurting her mom.
Like, yeah, like because she could really take that the wrong way.
He was also kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudging of like, I mean, clearly, obviously, you don't want your daughter to marry a white person. So, I mean, we're both in agreement here. Like, he's like, I don't think you got that right because
right.
Especially when you look at that family and there's clearly a lot of mixed race people in that family. It's not like so
absolutely
for him to be like, I don't know about this interracial thing. They'd be like,
yeah. And then I don't know why Danny is bringing up like in their conversations racial boundaries. Because this kind of goes back to the, like, if you start talking about it like it's a big deal, it's almost like you're making it into a big deal. You're kind of feeding into that.
Yeah. Right.
So it's just like, oh, this is just so awkward.
Yeah.
Talk about fishing. Don't talk about racial boundaries.
The weather. What are we doing tomorrow? Oh, I hope it doesn't rain. No. We're talk about dowries.
Right.
You know?
It was kind of nice talking about, I think it did get them to open up, kind of everybody talking about their own experience with like how they got married.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think,
I get too bad. That's good. But like, yeah, I couldn't get the I mean, because it verged a little bit too much into, oh, tell us about your backward African ways. Like,
oh gosh, yes. The thing that really pissed me off that Charles said is he says that he doesn't think of Danny and Amy as being a part of their family. They were just on the outer fringe.
On the fringes. Right.
Oh my gosh.
And like, yeah, that was just bad. Because she was like, oh, the mom was like, I want to think of her like a daughter. And he was like, And there's a grain of truth there that he was kind of saying, the words outer fringes and not part of my family anymore. But the idea of like, oh, I want my son to have his own life and to grow away and start a new thing that's not me anymore. Yeah. Right. And that's good and appropriate. But the way he said it was very much like, I kind of am disowning him a little bit.
Yes, it definitely, I got disown type vibes from that. Definitely. Yeah. So I don't think there was anything else in these 2 episodes, but they did have their rehearsal dinner in the same area as their wedding, which hasn't quite happened yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was the farm area. I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were pretty lucky to have a friend with a farm that was, you know, all rigged up with the lights and stuff. It looked really nice.
Yeah, it did.
So, lucky them.
Now,
all right.
The last couple, not so lucky.
Oh, gosh, especially when it comes to, the execution of their wedding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. She did find a cheaper dress, though.
Yeah, she did. She did. And they switched to the courthouse, and they're going to get married by the mayor.
Yes.
Which meant I had to look up the population of the town to be like, how big of a town is it that you can get the
probably
mayor?
Probably really small.
It's 17,000 around.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure the mayor is like excited to be on TV.
Yeah, that's true. It's a TV show thing. I mean, 17 is not crazy, but it's I don't know. It's like smaller than the town I grew up in, which is, random little town between Baltimore and Washington that just blends in with all the other ones. But still smaller than that. So it's a pretty small town.
Yeah. So they go wedding ring shopping, and
they went to Cleveland to go wedding ring shopping, which I thought was weird. Like, they clearly were in Cleveland. Like, they showed a bunch of
were
straight
they?
cuts. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, so this kind of goes back to Mohammed has not shown this entire season much affection for Danielle. It definitely seems like very transactional on his part, and the wedding ring shopping just plays into all of that, because he's just kind of like, Danielle likes these rings, and they weren't especially extravagant, but they had diamonds in it. So once you add a diamond all of a sudden it's
no matter what,
entirely more expensive.
Even a little turd fleck of a diamond is going to put it out of their budget.
Yeah. And so he says that he wants to spend $100 to $200 for two rings.
Both rings. Which is...
So pretty much that's like $50 each or $100 each. 50 to 100.
Right, which is going to get you a plain colored band. And you knew that if you... I don't know. I would think you would know that going in.
Yeah.
But these.
So why would you try on the diamonds?
So why are you trying on diamonds? Especially with, I hate that thing where you have a budget, you know what your budget is. Don't make the jeweler guess it and say, "Is that in your budget?" And then try something cheaper and be like, "Is that in your budget?" And then try something cheaper and be like, "Is this in your budget?" And why don't you just tell me what your budget is?
Yeah, considering she's the one who's paying for it, I would think that she would be the one to speak up about the budget, but he was the one who was kind of like, nope, $50 to $100. Let's stick with that.
Right, because he was that doesn't even get you gold bands. That just gets you silver bands.
Silver. Yeah, and that's what made it seem so transactional to me. He was the one kind of enforcing this because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about these rings.
No.
So it's... she cares about it. She wants something nice. He's just like, whatever. Give us the cheapest thing you have.
All right. So then the next time we see him, is
he's taking English class.
He's coming out of his English class, and Danielle has some bad news.
But good for him for taking an English class. Oh my gosh. I feel like it should be mandatory for all these people to take English classes. And his English isn't terrible.
No, his English
begin
is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, good for him for trying to make it better.
I'm trying to think.
It just shows that he's in it for the long haul.
Everybody,
at least being in America.
Yeah, most of the foreign half of these couples are pretty good English, except for Ymir.
Yes, but he's trying to.
Yeah, he's trying, but no judgment on it.
He has a plan.
Observation. Yeah,
he has a plan.
All right, so he's in his English class, and they meet, and we find out that Danielle. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I cry through it because that's what she does?
Yes.
They let me go. They let me go. Like what? And especially to cry the phrase "let me go" to someone who doesn't speak good English. He's like, "What do you mean they let you go? Like what?"
Yeah.
They let me go.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
So and it's pretty clear from the way she kind of frames it. She got fired.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get laid off. It wasn't cutbacks. She got fired.
Yeah.
Which is going to be rough because they were already behind on bills and stuff. And now they have
absolutely
no income.
So Mohammed immediately goes to a place of, blame, which is not the best if you're trying to maintain a healthy relationship. But he pretty much says that she was not serious about the job and that's why she lost it. So it is her fault.
So she was like, I wasn't getting the work done, right? That's the official reason.
Right.
Which kind of makes it sound like she wasn't serious about the job. What was her job? Do we even know what it was?
Yeah, I think we said I have it written down. It was kind of like a nurse for
home health.
No,
I thought that's what. Yeah, I thought that's what Angela was. Yeah.
Does that. No, she's she helped with disabled people.
Oh, okay.
She did something kind of in that realm.
Okay. So that seems like the only way you lose that job is
by not showing
up to work. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's other things too, like maybe you're not documenting things.
Oh, that's true.
Like the admin part of it.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I'm sure there's some some things you can do that are like will trigger an automatic firing. Like somebody you injure someone or, steal their money. That's going to just be they're fired right away.
So now he's getting really upset about his situation. He thinks that she's hiding things, which she is. Because, because she's afraid that he's going to leave her if she tells him the truth. That is
which is also
a major issue. Yes.
which she's not wrong about. Like, so.
No. But then at the same time, why are you trying to trick someone into being with you?
Right. If they're going to leave you if they know the truth, then they shouldn't be with you. Like, and you know it.
Right. Yes. So why are you trying to manipulate and trick someone? It's like they're not with you for love. And I don't know why, like, I don't know, that she's surprised about, any of this.
All right. So they do all that. And then it's the day of the wedding, right?
Yes. Yes. It's implied that it's the day of the wedding.
The day of the wedding, which is the day that Muhammad thinks is the best day he should go by himself to see an immigration lawyer.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, shouldn't he have gone when he found out that Danielle lost her job? Like, that seems like an appropriate time.
Or when he found out that she was so far behind her bills that cell phones were getting turned off.
Yes, that also would have been an appropriate time. Sure.
But either way, for somebody who can only spend up to $100 on rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it costs to consult a lawyer?
Maybe it's so he goes to Paul Dolce, which I'm wondering if it was a pro bono thing.
It might have been a pro bono, but usually you talk to a lawyer unless he's. Why would he agree to do it pro bono? Like, that's his job.
To get exposure,
I guess, if knowing it's going to be on TV.
Because he's on TV. Yeah.
I guess, because I mean that's
Paul Dolce.
That's at least,
I don't know.
That's at least a $300 talk. Like,
yeah, I kind of wondered if Paul Dolce was a real lawyer.
I mean, he seemed pretty scruffy.
He looked like someone posing as a lawyer.
Looked like they found somebody in the bar and was like, put a suit on.
Yeah.
Read this script.
Yes.
Should I comb my hair or shave or anything? Nah, don't worry about it.
No. First of all, he looked like he was like 20.
Yeah.
He had like this baby face, but he had like crazy hair.
Yeah, and he was trying to
I don't even know what's going on with his hair.
His baby face with a really long beard.
Scruffy.
Really long.
Scruffy beard.
Yeah.
And he had some bizarre comb over with like an excessive amount of hair.
Yeah.
Like, it made no sense. Like, you have a lot of hair. You don't need to do a comb over. It was very weird. But then you see him, and then his voice also didn't match. Like, he had this old man voice. Yeah. Paul Dolce was very weird.
Right. But he gives us some, I don't know, pretty obvious information that we already knew.
Yes.
You have to get married.
I was going to say insights, but
yeah.
I guess insights to Muhammad only.
To Muhammad, I guess. Because Muhammad seemed thrown that, well, he really wanted to go and make sure he actually had to get married. Like,
right.
Like, this 90-day thing is for real, right? I have to leave if it's not 90 days. Like, we're sure about that. Because he also didn't seem to know, because he also starts asking this immigration lawyer about, like, family law, which maybe he also does, but I don't know. Because he, like, did not understand that when you married someone, that their debts, especially their ongoing debts after the date of marriage, are also your debts.
Right. That you're tied financially together.
Right.
He was like, what?
He was like, right. Which, so that to me, in his whole crisis of conscience, he's a scammer. Like, he's worried about what scammers are worried about. Like, because if you're trying to scam somebody, you want to get married as quickly as possible, and once you're married, you don't want to have to be held responsible for their debts. I just want to disappear and be cool, and then everything's fine. Like, so it's harder to get your green card, and it's harder to get the green card and flee if you're stuck with Danielle's debts, and that's what he's worried about.
Yeah. I mean, he even says he just wanted an easy marriage. It's like, oh, you did not pick the right person. You picked very poorly if you just wanted an easy marriage.
Unless by easy marriage, he meant someone who's going to be easy to trick into marrying me.
Yeah, that must be what he was thinking, because there is nothing easy about this. Danielle is stage 5 clinger, first of all. Like,
She
you
has
will
3
never
kids.
be rid of her. Yes, she has so much baggage. You know, now she has like financial difficulties that you're just finding out about because she also lies to you. It's like there's nothing easy about this marriage ever.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And then he said something that I was like, maybe thought he was a liar. He was like, I didn't even want to come to America. It's like,
Bullshit.
really? Yeah. Really? You didn't want to come to America? You came to America just because of Danielle? No way. I call shenanigans.
Yeah, not happening.
Danielle is not the person that is going to make you sacrifice and leave your country for.
Yeah, that was like, and especially even if you did, you would show her affection, and then he uses his culture as an excuse for like everything.
Yes.
Oh, my culture, we
Right.
don't do that. We don't show affection. But like,
Yeah. But I mean, even he says she's acceptable physically. So,
yeah,
you're
like-
going to leave your country, even though you don't want to, just because of someone who's acceptable physically.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Yes, it's very much a gaslighting situation. Like, we all know that's a lie, and you're telling it anyway, and you're really
Yeah.
sticking with it, really going with
Right.
it.
My God.
But then we go to Danielle, who's just crying in her room. I mean, and I feel bad
gosh.
for going on her for crying, but like, your potential
No,
husband,
I don't.
like,
It's so
bailing on
cringy.
you?
I don't like it.
it's very cringy. I don't like it. It's awkward, but I'm just saying,
It's hard
it's
to
an
watch. It's
appropriate
so
time
hard
to
to
be
watch.
crying. It's an appropriate situation
Yeah, okay. Yes,
to be crying,
Granted.
right? But she has this.
Okay, of all the times she cries, yes,
This
this
one.
is the one time we should give her a pass.
Yeah, I don't like the way she cries, but
Oh, no, I don't.
she has a creepy ass doll collection on her dresser.
Oh, gosh. That doesn't surprise me at all.
So weird.
This is why she has to go to another country to find someone.
Oh, it's not fair.
Oh, gosh. What you're doing to me. It's like every word is like drawn out. Oh, my gosh.
So
So she says that the girls are worried he's going to leave. It's like, really? I'm pretty sure Faith doesn't give a crap. She just wants to know if the wedding's happening so she can go to her friend's house.
yes, that seems about accurate.
That was my takeaway from that.
So what are we doing today? Are we doing something today?
Yeah.
All right.
Is the wedding happening? Because
Well, okay.
I made plans.
So
I need to
something
make
that-
plans.
Something that really bothered me about her house was, I understand that she does not have money. But that
Yes.
doesn't mean you should have like cracked light switches and like peeling paint on things. Like, those don't take very much money to fix. And so it's like a lack of care that kind of shows up. The
Yeah.
cracked light switches really bothered me because I like a light panel, you know, the little rectangle thing. It's 2
Yeah.
screws and it cost literally 25 cents to fix.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like,
but
you just didn't do
I
it.
don't know. She just seems kind of clueless in life. You know, like, she's the kind of person who needs to take an adulting class.
I can see that. Ooh, oh yeah. Don't leave the milk out. Yes, of course.
Right.
Ooh, never thought of that. Oh, lock your door?
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. Who'd have thought it? All right, so
Yeah.
wait, do we? I don't know. I was getting confused the episodes because we've been watching them so much.
Yes.
Did they leave us hanging at the end of this one, or did they tell us what was going on?
Yes, they left you hanging.
Okay.
So Muhammad feels trapped. And I just feel like, kind of going back to what we said a little bit earlier, it's like she's using emotional terrorism to basically guilt him into staying. And it's like, what kind of relationship are you going to have if someone felt guilted into staying there? It's like, if you're okay with not having a relationship that is based on love, then maybe that's one thing. But, you know, like I said, she's like a stage 5. Like, she really loves this guy. She wants to be loved.
She
So
does,
is it
and I don't
okay
know.
for
I
her?
don't know if she loves him or if she loves the idea of being loved.
Oh yeah, probably second is my guess.
Like,
because
I don't-
he hasn't shown
he has
anything
nothing.
that
Yeah.
like
What
to
is
make
it that she
seem
loves
like,
about him besides the fact that
right.
she's acceptable to him? Like,
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure she finds him physically attractive.
yeah, Okay,
But
sure.
it's like you've never seen them laugh together. You've never seen them have like deep conversations together. Like you know, it's like, what does she actually love about him?
Yeah.
Like she's one of those people where if you asked her, she would say, "Oh, because he's my soulmate." It's like, shut up. That's not a real reason.
Yeah, the laughing is a good one. Like I can't. Yeah, you can't be in love with someone that you've never like laughed with. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah. Really, the most that has happened is she has like physically hung on to him.
Right, and because you can't blame like laughter and depth and like, you know, genuine interest are things that are not like culturally bound. You can't be like, oh, in my culture we don't laugh. Like that's not a thing. Like you could say in my culture we don't like hang on each other and we don't kiss in public. Okay,
Right.
But to be like, oh, in my culture we don't talk about our hopes and dreams. That's not a thing we do. It's a cultural thing. Like. We don't form you know, deep emotional connections with anyone. That's not a thing in my culture. Okay.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem into it at all.
No? Really doesn't. All right.
Yeah. So they kind of they do come to some kind of conclusion. So he says that you know, she asks him, "Are you going to stay?" And then you know, he says, well, she has to be open about money. And then she says that they need him, you know, financially. So I'm sure that's another thing, too, from her perspective, is she thinks that this person is going to make her life better in a lot of ways other than just being her companion. He's going to be someone to, I mean, her kids don't really need to be helped taken care of, but like financially, another adult to kind of contribute to the household. Yeah. But then even then I kind of like, shouldn't you have picked someone who, you know, maybe is local and already has money, or I don't know. Right. I don't even know if these are options for her, but
can work right now. You know, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really hard. I feel like it's really hard to find someone to date if your thing is like, okay, what I'm looking for is somebody who will pay for my kids and
no one wants
agree to marry me. That's what I want. Like nobody's going for that.
Right, because what is she bringing to the table?
Right. I was like, even if she's a 10, nobody's gonna be like, I'm in. Like,
yeah, I mean, but in general, what is she really bringing to the table? She's just a hot mess. Like, she arguably could use an extreme makeover. You know, she doesn't seem to be super intelligent.
Or funny.
She does not have a career path. Yeah, she's not especially funny. She seems to be incredibly clueless and delusional. Like, what is she bringing to a relationship other than baggage and troubles?
Right. And when you look, and then, yeah. So what she can find is the one thing she does bring to this relationship is U.S. citizenship.
Yeah. Okay. True. So she can bring green card opportunities.
Yes. That's what she's got. And that's why she's looking where she's looking, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Let's close it out. Student of the week.
Student of the week. Let's see here. Evelyn, student of the week, for helping to bridge together Justin and his family.
Oh man, I feel like we might double up on both of these. I also picked Evelyn.
Oh yeah. Well, you know,
just to gently insert some sense into Justin. I would say knock some sense, but she didn't knock anybody around. She was really sweet about it. She was nice about it. She was tactful about how she did, and she ended up making the right thing happen.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if you want some diversity here, I also thought someone honorable mention. How about honorable mention for student of the week?
All right.
Was Chelsea's mom. I really thought she gave great advice that was really conducive to like establishing a very strong relationship between Chelsea and Ymir.
Right.
So,
which was also not advice that was centered around her feelings and what she wanted.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I say that, but there's an equally good chance
maybe she
that
doesn't
she
want them
wanted them
living
out
in
of their
the
damn basement.
Yeah. Maybe, possibly.
All right. Dunce.
Oh, I have a feeling I know who you'd pick.
Oh, yeah. It's Danny's dad.
Okay, I'll pick someone else just because of that.
Okay.
What's that?
Nothing. I said, okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. We talked about it extensively. It's Danny's dad.
Yes.
He's just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Charles is the worst.
He's the worst. Like,
It's just so terrible.
There's nothing else to say. He's just the worst.
Yeah. So yes, I will say Charles should be class dunce of the week. But honorable mention to Jason for just being so clueless about, someone else's feelings and selfish. Being insensitive to the fact that work is not fun for Cassia and dragging her along.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Cassia. He just doesn't get it.
Right. That's true.
Yep.
All right. What's your life lesson?
Oh, gosh. You have to come back to me on that one.
Okay. So my life lesson, I don't know. Sometimes they're like big and deep and meaningful and wrap everything in a bow. Sometimes something just pisses me off in the show and I want to make sure I put it out there. So
Okay.
Brett, when Sue came over and Lou was helping him on the grill, he was having a cookout.
Yes.
He did not say he was having a cookout. He said he was having a barbecue.
Oh, okay.
Brett was not
That's
having a
West
barbecue.
Coast thing, I'm sure.
Okay, so as a almost Southerner, right? Maryland is below the Mason-Dixon line. A barbecue implies that you are slowly cooking meat over low heat for a long period of time. If you do not have a smoker and you are not cooking all day, you are not barbecuing. You are just, if it's a gas grill, that's a cookout.
That's so funny because, like, West Coast, like I said, like, we never use cookout to mean anything. Barbecue is anytime you're outside cooking, it is called a barbecue.
It is a cookout. You have to be like barbecue. Like, you got to have, you have to have the smoker. It's got to be low because it's different.
That makes sense.
Different things. Like, my experience is mostly North Carolina, and North Carolina is pork barbecue. You cook the pork shoulder nice, low and slow. You shred it all up. It's barbecue. Like, so it's an all day like affair that you're preparing for like all day. It's got to be low and slow heat. Texas is big on barbecue. They do brisket.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're cooking something in 10 minutes, you are not barbecuing. So that my life lesson is making the difference between a barbecue and a cookout.
Oh, goodness. Well, my life lesson also comes from Brett and Daya, and it's really kind of stemming from Sue. I feel like one of Sue's big mistakes in having her conversation with Daya, or just even her impressions of it, is kind of projecting your experiences onto someone else. She didn't like Daya because of Daya. She didn't like Daya because she was Asian and there were issues with her friends marrying Asian people. And so she put past experiences that were related to a group of people onto, someone that she has no knowledge of. And I feel like that is, kind of a form of racism. You're basically being prejudiced because of, some things that they have in common. And you just have to be very careful about that. I know it's difficult for some people because, stereotypes get, traction because it's been known to be true, but it doesn't mean it's always true.
Right. And
I think it's kind of natural for everybody to prejudge. And it's not that I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's more so you can't help but prejudging. And it's mostly because people are always trying to relate new experiences with prior knowledge. But I think the biggest difference between being prejudiced and being racist is sticking to, like, this is what's going to happen or this is true. So I think you can prejudge, but then be open-minded about it. So, even though Sue may have thought that, this could be a thing, she needs to be open-minded about Daya. So that's my life lesson.
All right.
As long-winded as it is.
Very good. We have a life lesson about the slightly less racist person. Okay.
I know, right?
Oh, all right. So we have to figure out the schedule for when we get back after this week.
crazy.
Yes. So we will have the wrap up for this classic next Thursday. So once again, there's going to be no new episode on Monday. There will be us wrapping up this season 2 classic next Thursday, and then 2 Mondays from now, we will resume with some new episodes.
Right. And we are going to have...
In fact, we might even have one on Sunday.
We might.
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, it might be Sunday, but we're probably going to release 2 or 3 episodes. Just we want to have get caught up and cover everything so we can be back on track after the new year.
Yeah. So January 6th specifically.
Right, exactly. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so that sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.